Hey everybody, I'm Nora Simpson, and I'm the head of training for AssumeList. And someone you know sent you this video because they want you to learn more about assumptions and assumable mortgages. So, what's an assumable mortgage? Well, an assumable mortgage is a government-backed loan that can be transferred from a seller to a purchaser at the same interest rate and terms. Why does that matter? Well, it turns out with interest rates going up over the last few years, a lot of buyers are very nervous about buying with interest rates that are really high compared to the interest rates that they saw a few years ago. That's where assumable mortgages come in. You can actually assume when you purchase a home, you can assume the terms of the debt that your seller is paying off. And so it's really great for sellers because people are willing to pay a little bit more money to assume mortgages. And it's really great for buyers because they get to be paying really low rates like 2.5% or 3% or 3.5%. I mean, these are amazing rates for like 25 more years and saving hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it's really great for real estate agents because real estate agents get to help buyers and sellers. So they close more deals and they, make more families happy. And like, why am I telling you all this? I'm telling you all this because it's actually been really hard to find the listings that are assumable in the marketplace. It turns out that about 10% of all real estate listings have assumable mortgages, right? An assumable mortgage has a government-backed loan, either VA or FHA, and you actually don't have to be a veteran to assume a VA loan. Crazy, I know. There's more detail about that, don't worry. And you don't even, you can be kind of like a regular person to assume an FHA loan. But fewer than 10% of the listings that have assumable mortgages are advertised as assumable, which is to say if 10% of the listings in any marketplace on average are assumable and fewer than 10% of those listings are advertised that way, it can be really hard to find a property where you want to assume the mortgage because you don't even know where they are. So that's a huge issue. And that's one of the reasons that my friends, Mike and Bethany, who I work with every day, founded and created AssumeList. So there's Mike and Bethany and their family. They're so adorable. They're so talented and smart. They run one of the most successful real estate groups in the country. It's called Fidelis Property Group. Fidelis, like the Marines, Mike and Bethany. Mike was a Marine for 20 years. Bethany worked for the Marines. They're like totally a loved of like military family. And so that was like part of their motivation for creating AssumeList, but also they just love helping people. And Mike and Bethany aren't just, sweet, lovable people. They're actually really on top of their game when it comes to getting results. And Mike and Bethany together have closed more assumable purchases than any other real estate agent or team over the last few years. They are massive experts in this area, and it's shocking to them that other people aren't taking this on and closing huge numbers of deals that help buyers, sellers, and agents. So that's why they created AssumeList. Now, Mike has a lot of technical skill. So he took all this data because it's actually not easy to figure out like the assumable mortgage thing. In fact, did you know that more than 50% of agents who are selling a property with an assumable mortgage, more than half of those agents don't know that their seller has an assumable mortgage and that their seller could be getting a higher price with that, with that assumable mortgage advertised as assumable. Crazy, right? So Mike went all over and found all of these like amazing data sources that are really hard to find. And he put them all together with this proprietary algorithm and proprietary software. And so when you search for assumable properties on AssumeList, you can see the price of the listing, you can see the current interest rate of the mortgage, you can see what the cash gap is, like how much has been paid down on the mortgage that the buyer will have to come up with cash to close that gap. And when you actually click on the listings, you see even more data, like amazing amounts of data. And we're so proud of being able to like bring that data to the marketplace, bring it to buyers, sellers, and agents. And for our agent subscribers don't just see all the on-market assumable properties, like all the listings, they also see all the off-market assumable properties. So This is a search I did in the Austin and Houston areas of Texas, because those two cities have like a ton. And look at San Antonio. My gosh, I got some San Antonio in there too. Those two and a half cities have a ton of assumable listings. Okay, so like this search has 2,800 assumable listings, right? Um, in that same search area, just in that same search area, there's more than 200,000 off-market properties with assumable mortgages. So our agent subscribers will often use that off-market data to help their clients find off-market deals, to mail to clients and get new listings. I mean, it's really remarkable what the data allows you to do. But without understanding all the, kind of little details about assumptions, because, most people don't know how to close assumptions. Most people haven't done it before. Without understanding all the little details, it can feel really overwhelming. And that's why we actually, the data and the search and all the cool, like techie stuff is only half of what we have built for AssumeList. The other half is all about learning, all about making assumptions easy to understand, easy to do, easy to make money on for for agents, for buyers, for sellers, right? We want everybody to benefit. Buyers are going to save anywhere from $200,000 to $800,000 over the next 25 years if they're able to assume a mortgage. It's amazing how much money gets saved. I mean, we're talking about huge, like life-changing amounts of money. Sellers often get to walk away with a higher amount of net cash from the sale because people are willing to pay a little more. And of course, agents get to close more deals. And so everybody wins. So we developed all these fact sheets and guides. These are fact sheets that can be easily downloaded and sent out to your buyers, your sellers, and your other agents who you want to educate. We have videos for educating others about assumptions. We have videos about how to use all the cool advanced features, because we have a lot of advanced features. We also have documents and forms, some of which are documents and forms you would have to find like on the VA website or on the FHA website. So we don't want you to have to go searching for that. We want to make it super easy for you to find. So we put it all in one place. Some of these documents are documents that Mike and Bethany actually developed as they were closing all these different assumption deals, because they realized they could strengthen all of the, legal stuff if they just developed a simple VA assumption addendum, a simple FHA assumption addendum, right? That these are things they now include in all their purchase offers, right? And it just has made the process much smoother. So this is all stuff we make available to our agent subscribers because we want people to have an easy time doing this amazing thing for the marketplace, right? Buyers benefit because they get to save so much money over the life of the loan. Sellers benefit because they get to they get to walk away with more profit and feel great, and agents get to close more deals. So we love, love, love educating people about that. And just to help you understand, there is a lot of misinformation in the marketplace. In fact, if you were to go to Google and type in what are the advantages and disadvantages of assuming a home, or participating in an assumption purchase, you would actually get wrong information. Like somebody wrote something a long time ago that was wrong and somebody else just copied it. And now the Google AI thinks that that's correct. And it's actually like dead wrong. Like stuff about like the seller still being liable. The seller is not liable. Once the assumption is over, the seller never has to worry about that mortgage again. A lot of confusion, a lot of misconceptions. There's also myths, and some of these myths used to be true. So like, for instance, a lot of agents have heard about assumptions, but they've heard that they take really, really long amounts of time. That's not true anymore, because the VA and the Department of Housing and Urban Development basically came down pretty hard on lenders and banks and said, you can't drag your feet on this. I know you don't make as much profit on an assumption as you do on a primary mortgage, but if you want to keep working with us, the Veterans Affairs Administration, roar, you have to approve, you have to go through the whole assumption approval process within 45 days of submission of the buyer's completed application. So like that has changed a lot. And Mike and Bethany are very, very tapped into that world. And so they know as soon as things get changed, they're like on the phone with the bank, on the phone with the lender, like, are you aware of VA circular, blah, 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 right? So they're really, really good at that. And we have tried to capture all of that for all of you so that you can benefit from the real facts. Also, there's this myth that assumptions are bad for sellers. No, no, no. If I'm selling a $600,000 home and I have $500,000 left on the mortgage, right? If somebody made me an offer for $600,000 and I accepted it, right? A primary conventional mortgage would be issued to the buyer. That $600,000 would, be, created, delivered at closing, like the bank, blah, 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 closing, all of that. And then that $600,000, 500,000 of that would go to the bank to pay off my mortgage, because that would be how much is left on my mortgage. And then I would get to walk away with $100,000. Pretty cool for me, right? Now, let's imagine that I have an assumable mortgage with like a 3.2% interest rate, and I want to sell my $600,000 home. And let's even imagine that a couple of different people really want to assume the terms of my 3.2% mortgage. So they're willing to pay $610,000 or $630,000. So I'm going to make a little more money, right? Because they're going to make sure that because that $500,000 that's left on my mortgage, they're going to be paying that off at 3.2%. They're not going to be paying it off at 7% or 6%. So they're going to save hundreds of thousands of dollars across the life of the mortgage. So what are they going to do? They're going to offer me a little more money. So let's say that I accept an offer for $630,000. Now, instead of a big check for $630,000 helping me pay off my $500,000 mortgage, instead, I'm signing a paper that says that these people are now the people who have this $500,000 mortgage. I am no longer liable for it. It's off my plate. And I get to walk away with $130,000 cash. So it's actually very advantageous for sellers, and often leads to higher prices. Not always, but often. It's also a misconception that VA loans can only be assumed by veterans. That's 100% not true. There's all this cool stuff about splitting off entitlement, and we go into that pretty in depth in other videos and other fact sheets. We actually talk about it in this fact sheet. We talk about the 5 most common scenarios, why a veteran might split off the portion of their entitlement that's left with the mortgage to remain with the property, and then they get to keep the rest of their entitlement, which is like amazing. So let me just be really clear. So they can split off, let's say they have an entitlement of $800,000, and let's say there's $400,000 left on the mortgage, right? $400,000 in debt. So they can split off that $400,000 in debt and leave that $400,000 of their entitlement with the property and still walk away with the other $400,000 to use in a VA loan going forward. So that, first and foremost, most people don't know about splitting entitlement. And secondly, most people don't realize that there are many scenarios where veterans are actually willing to split their entitlement or even don't need their entitlement, et cetera. So there's lots of ways that we try to make sure you have all the information you need so that sellers, buyers, and agents are all benefiting from this amazing opportunity to make the most of assumptions. If you have more questions, please feel free to register for our daily live Q&As. Come to our website, read all about us, AssumeList.com. I lead daily live Q&As every single day at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. So I'm happy to continue answering your questions there, but we want to make sure that you have all the knowledge you need to be as successful as possible. Oh, one last thing I forgot. In 2024, AssumeList won the Best of Prop Tech from Inman, the real estate knowledge company. They won we won a Best of Prop Tech alternative financing award. So yes, woohoo! So again, can't wait to talk with all of you. Can't wait to actually, answer more of your questions. And we're so excited to share this incredible thing with you. Okay, talk soon.